Welcome to the second edition of Smarties Unplugged India, a melting pot for marketers exploring how technology-powered creativity and AI-driven innovation are reshaping the future of marketing excellence. I'm Tanya Sehgal, the PR and content manager for MMA India in-house, who also doubles up as a host more often than not. For those of our common attendees, you know, that's how we do our optimization. So how are we today? A show of hands for those who are here to kickstart their Friday on a high note. Both hands. Liars. Those who didn't raise their hands are liars. Okay, I don't see the energy. Did we miss the yummy lunch outside? Can I get a yes? Yes. Yes. I don't hear it. I'm louder than all of you combined without a mic. Thanks, Avinash. Come on, guys. Can I get a yes? Yes. Thank you. Okay, so moving on, I'm happy to share that those who couldn't make it today will be following our social feed closely. So please scan the QR code on the screen shortly, which should be here. Yeah. To follow us if you aren't already, share your experiences, your pictures, stories, videos, memories, and even bloopers using our official event hashtag Smarties India. Smarties Gala or the awards ceremony will be shortly following after Unplugged at 7. So see you there. That's where we announce the wins and raise one too many toasts to the industry. In case you didn't notice, you can flip your lanyards and scan the QR code. It's a one-stop link hub which will direct you to the agenda and much more. So let's get this show on the road by thanking our esteemed partners for helping us put this grand event together. The 13th edition of Smarties Unplugged India is co-powered by Glance Advertising and Silverpush. Shout out to our masterclass partner, Digital Turbine, for conducting an enriching workshop earlier in the day. Big shout out to our corporate partners, Spotify, Bliss, Federal Bank and Hybrid, and media partners, Storyboard 18, Indian Television, Free Press Journal, Media News for You, and AdGully. A quick request to all our panelists, please stay back after your session ends because we have a special certificate and a token of appreciation for you. Now, are we ready to unplug, unwind, and unpack the secret sauce that goes behind clutter-breaking marketing work? Are we? Can I have a better yes, please? Yes. Thanda. Yes. Louder. Yes. Thank you. Great. So I'm going to invite on stage Monica Khurana, country head and board member, MMA Global India, and the driving force behind all that you see culminated here today. Big round of applause. Quick mic check. Are we good? Am I audible, everybody? Yes? Awesome. So it's always nice to start on time and to see a room full. It's very encouraging. Thank you for being here on time. Big round of applause for that. And especially in Bombay. So that's great. Okay, so I actually have something very, very interesting for you. Very different from what you'll hear throughout the day, because I wanted to set the tone right, and I wanted to leave behind something that's of value to all of you who made the time to be here on a Friday afternoon. Okay, but one fun fact before I start. Those who follow Navratri, today, the color is purple, and Smarties is purple. How about that? Give us a big round of applause. All right, so that's the fun part. Okay, so having said that, you already know what my topic is, but I'm going to decode it for you fully and as articulately as I can. So my topic for today is greatness cannot be planned, and hence, question the objective myth. Sounds a little too layered, but we'll peel that. Okay, so the idea is I want to ensure we open the day with some strong reflections and really force thinking to truly push boundaries, raise the bar on cutting-edge work at a forum like this, where we are celebrating innovation, we are celebrating business impact. So if not here, then where? And that's why this topic, and that's why this context. Okay, so this theme that I'm talking about is greatness cannot be planned, and there is a need to question the objective myth, which is apt to discuss, where today we recognize and honor innovation at Smarties. You know, they say greatness cannot be planned as it's built by those who dare to experiment, who embrace the unknown. So this thinking, by the way, is not my thinking. It's inspired by a whole tribe who has been reading a bestseller titled Why Greatness Cannot Be Planned. And that's written by Kenneth Stanley and Joel Lehman. Tell me one thing. How many of you have read this book, Why Greatness Cannot Be Planned? Anyone who's familiar with the book or even heard about it? Anyone? Okay, great. So maybe I hope I can inspire you to read it after listening to the context and the ethos of why the book says what it says. Yeah? All right. So in this book, interestingly, the author completely challenges the traditional goal-driven approach to innovation, arguing that objective-driven plans often hinder progress. That sounds provocative, but stay with me. It advocates alternative methods like novelty-seeking exploration, and you will understand more about it as we talk more about it. But before that, I'm going to play a video for you, which is essentially a small sneak preview of what the author himself has said about it and why he thinks that why greatness cannot be planned. So can we have the video, please?
Is deceptive. So like the compass that you're using, which is measuring progress towards the objective, is actually misleading you rather than leading you in the right direction. And this happens all the time. Of course, deception is just pervasive in like all complex problems. And you think about it, like the reason they're called complex is because they are deceptive. In other words, it may look like as you measure progress, things are going up, but actually you're going towards a dead end. Like there's some extreme examples you could think of, like for example, like if I was trying to get to the moon, but I tried to begin by climbing a mountain, then your objective function will go up for a while. In fact, when you get to the top of the mountain, you have reason to celebrate, like you've achieved something substantial, but it has nothing to do with getting to the moon. And this is a really like cautionary tale, because a lot of the things we're doing, like in like some of the most complex problems that we have, are exactly like that. They're highly deceptive. We see progress, and even rapid progress, and we celebrate and think we're going to go all the way, but actually we're just on a deceptive local optimum, and that's obviously a problem. So objectives can be like very misleading in that way when we don't know what the stepping stones are that will lead us from where we are to where we want to be. So the alternative is, let's go to places that we find interesting. Now that's different than random, right? Because interesting is based on information, tons of information, your entire life, basically, plus everything that biology has endowed you with over the eons of evolution, all go into what you find interesting today, right now, in this second. So it's not by any means random, and it's highly rich information, and people tend to be very good at it. But the problem is, and this is the thing you have to understand, which is subtle and kind of counterintuitive about this. The problem is that if you follow gradients of interestingness, you don't know where you're going. You have to accept that. So there's no guarantee that you will become is deceptive. So like the compass that you're using, which is measuring progress towards the objective, is actually misleading you rather than leading you in the right direction. And this happens all the time. Of course, deception is just pervasive in.
Yes, so that essentially, for those who got it, I know he speaks a little fast, but it is essentially a view which takes time to soak in. But stay with me, we'll talk a little more about it, and then you'll get better with it. So it's a view which takes a while to register, but if you reflect about it with an open mind, you'll see immense value in embracing it. Yeah? Okay, so the problem is, we are just so obsessed with objectives and achieving the objectives, and therefore a roadmap that can get us to it, that we just go blinded, right? But the moment we stop demanding outcomes, the moment we stop demanding outcomes and don't question what is that going to look like, what is greatness going to look like, and only focus on one milestone at a time, is when the magic begins to happen. That's essentially how it works. Think about it deeply, yeah? Okay,
So that being the point, exploring is actually very rewarding, right? But remember, I am not talking about moderate objectives, which we all need to have, like we need to be in office on time, we need to do X things for our clients, so on and so forth. We're talking about the real ambitious objectives out here, yeah? These are the ambitious objectives where you need to follow a milestone-driven approach versus an objective-driven approach. And by the way, just to surprise you, while there are many success stories around following this approach, the big one? The big one is us. We humans are a classic example of discovery. Classic example. It was 7 stages of evolution which got us to be the best version of ourselves. And that is what it means. That's how powerful it can be, right? Having said that, one wonders that if it is so much of a big deal, why aren't we doing enough about it? Why aren't we taking note of it? So now there's food for thought on that one. So I primarily have set the essence for you, and everything in context of why doesn't it really happen, whilst it should, is what will follow. So the question is, if it is so powerful, then what holds us back? What holds CMOs back from doing it, So let me first flash to you some very interesting insights on, the real truth, on, the way it's working right now, and maybe those are some of the reasons why we are not seeing it happen at scale. By the way, 40% of top 50 companies in India don't have marketing representation in their boardrooms. Yeah, that's huge. Okay, and even bigger, less than 3% of companies globally have a CMO serving on their boards, just 3%. Yeah, the point being, if marketing isn't central to decision making at the top level, then how is bold and risky experimentation going to ever happen, right? The other point, 60% of CEOs are quick to compromise on long-term brand health for short-term measures like ROI. Isn't that true? Right? Most of the time we are compromising on short-term ROI versus long-term. The other interesting part is the matrix that matters to CEOs is very different from the matrix that matter to CMOs. Right? CEOs, in fact, are often viewing marketing as a line item to be managed efficiently versus effectively, right? And all in all, therefore, there's lack of willingness to take risks even when it's hard to justify ROI immediately. So basically, there isn't willingness to take that risk because they aren't able to justify the ROI, right? So that's why I started off by saying that CMO representation in the boardroom is where it begins. So that's where the autonomy comes in, to be able to do what otherwise is a struggle. And that's actually what is also recapped in the next slide. Yeah? Yeah. So that's a recap of what is holding CMOs back, what I just spoke about in terms of being able to embrace discovery-driven thinking, milestone-driven approaches, right? So those are issues. So what do we do about it? We should do something about it. We can't live with it. We have to evolve, right? So here are some thoughts on how we as an industry and we as an industry body think you could combat some of it at a leadership level, at a middle level, and all the way as a culture, right? So what does one do about it? One needs to embrace a discovery mindset. You know why? Because at the heart of marketing innovation lies experimentation, which emerges from non-objective based thinking and which requires brands to try new strategies without fixating on immediate results and immediate outcomes, but to dare to innovate without knowing the destination, right? And that's where Smarties can also be a bigger, better platform. Actually, we had this very interesting report, which we did with Canva globally, where it actually calls out that whilst marketers praise a lot of their strengths, but they do see a clear concern about the ability to adapt quickly and integrate advanced technology seamlessly in creative processes. And I think you should really look up that report because it gives out some excellent insights which further motivates us to see it in an open-ended way, to see creativity more open-endedly. So there is a QR code out there. In case this report is of interest to you, please do scan it, Do download it. It is a fantastic report, and it's a must-read. No better day than the Smarties to share this with you. We'll give you a couple of seconds. I can see a lot of you clicking it. Okay, so whilst we spoke about, whilst we spoke about a discovery-based mindset, the second point, I have 4. This is the second one. The second point, which I'm very excited about, and you'll know why, is the ability to adopt the play method to transform, right? And to basically use the play method to approach creativity. Because creativity isn't born out of rigid structures. It thrives in spaces of play and exploration. I just completely in awe of Rashi Goyal, who's ex-Nestle, runs her own blog, which is called Performonks. She's been a speaker with us many a times, and I borrow with pride what she says. She says, in her blog, learning creativity is much like learning how to paint without a clear picture in mind, but with the openness to discover something new. And in another one, she beautifully says how play and exploration are not just childlike activities, but powerful tools for creative leadership. And guess what? We can help you seed this mindset right here in a while from now, because we have the pleasure of Avinash with us, who's written the book, Play to Transform, and is going to really help you guys decode on how you can use a play mindset to do better, to be able to come up with better creativity and creative ways of solving for your problems. Yeah? So Avinash is right here. Give him a big round of applause. So that was the second point. We spoke about a discovery mindset. We spoke about a need to adopt play. The third one, and very important in today's time, is the interplay of technology and creativity. Yeah? Creativity and technology are not at odds with each other. They are a perfect partnership. It's like wine and cheese together. They got to be together. Yeah? So it's the interplay of creative and technology. We need to be willing for it. And again, the same report which I was talking to you about, 77% of marketers believe creativity is more critical than ever, but only 40% of marketers believe they're making the right investment in tools and talent, right? That's a dichotomy. We all understand that now how important creativity is at every level, and yet there isn't enough investment in technology and talent. So that was your third point, and then there's the last one, a very important one, which actually sets the base for being able to implement everything we said, which is the willingness to learn and unlearn at scale. Yeah? This is not just a mindset. It requires actionability. It's not just having the mindset. And how do you have the actionability? You can have that only when you are willing to learn the new skills needed, when you're willing to adopt the new way of working, and you're willing to be a lifelong learner in an ever-changing dynamic ecosystem, right? So that's how the whole puzzle can actually get solved, and that's what it's all about. So that's now for you to ponder more about. We can help you in many ways today and otherwise, but finally, it's about you taking the initiative. So on that note, we spoke about why greatness cannot be planned. We spoke about what's holding us back from going that path. And we spoke about, is there a solve for it, which we said there is, and we're even going to help you implement some of it. So why wait now? So I'm hoping that you're able to adopt some of these best practices and let yourself flow, because the future of marketing excellence is about learning and collecting these stepping stones all the way to let the magic happen for you, right? So on that note, I do want to kick off the day by first doing a big shout out to all our partners who are here and who have actively supported us to make such a beautiful showcase out of Smarties and bring to you the kind of learnings they will be bringing. That's that's for them. Let's give it up for them, guys. And of course, how can we not thank our speakers for finding valuable time to be with us and walk you through a lot of valuable sessions which you will see through the day. In fact, a lot of our speakers are still to sort of join in, but there are about 25 to 30 speakers who we'll have at the end of today, and each of them bringing a very unique perspective of their own. And as always, we'd like to always do an appreciation for our board, MMA India board, which works with us actively to mentor the industry and is always highly engaged. You will see some of them today through the day. And of course, our members, which is essentially a lot of you out here. So thank you very much for always being active, collaborative, and participative. So on that note, if we are warmed up enough, let's get rolling. You got to be you got to be sitting there like good travelers who have no fixed plans and no intent to arrive anywhere, because that's how you'll discover some greatness at the end of this journey. So enjoy yourself and have a lovely afternoon.